Hello, 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 hello. Let me quickly put this up, even though I'm going to take it down in 2 seconds. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another edition of the live stream. I know I'm about a half an hour late. And honestly, I wasn't gonna broadcast tonight. And my partner in crime, Mr. Tarot by Hilary, we were walking home, parked my car, we were walking home, and I was just like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm gonna do the live stream tonight. And I was just like, I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I may be out of it. It's the heat. It is the heat. It is quite warm here. And then he was just like, well, see how you feel. You might not have to. I was like, what should I talk about? What should I teach? What should the topic be? And he was just like, well, why don't you just go on there and do what you do? And I'm just like, oh, you mean like the pillars? You mean like the astro-weather, like the weekend forecast? And he was like, yeah. I was like, well, what about the mid-episode reading? And he was just like, only if you're feeling up to it. And I was just like, I don't know. And then I came inside and I looked at the astrology from the Astrobiz Digest, which I usually share Friday and Saturday and Sunday with you guys every week. And I looked at it and I'm just like, oh yeah, it's the full moon. It's the full moon this weekend. I'm just like, yeah, I can't. I was like sitting on the couch and he's on the other couch and he's playing his video games. And I looked up at him and I was just like, it's the full moon this weekend. I was just like, all right, I'll see you later. I can't leave them hanging. He just started laughing. So here we are, Friday, July 19th, 2024. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And the description of this video is actually tweaked from last year. I guess last year at this time, because I save all of my descriptions into like my notepad of, basically the title and the description of all the live streams. And I looked and I saw from last year around this time, it was apparently hot as Hades. And I wasn't feeling it, but I still came on and I said, maybe we'll do the mid-episode reading, maybe we won't because it's hot as Hades here. And it's just like, oh, look, a year later and it's hot as Hades. I'm actually looking over, so I'm broadcasting from the bedroom, and I'm looking. So like you're seeing my bedroom window behind me here. This is my bedroom window with our little quasi altar. I make altars everywhere. Y'all know this. Fran says that I'm buffering. All right, I'll do the best I can. I'm buffering, and let me take a look, Fran, and see what this is doing. Oh, could be that I have a couple of tabs open at the same time. Let me check. Is it better? Is it work? Is it worse? Is it work? Yes. Let me check my settings here. Yeah, I don't know. We had storms yesterday, so could have something to do with that. Looks okay on my end, on the Book of Face. Yeah. All right. Anyway, my mind is also buffering. So good evening, Frances. Hello, good evening, all, except Katie. Good morning. Good morning to Katie. And apparently I was buffering and totally frozen and then back again. So, all right, anyway, I guess introductions are in order, so I will be right back in about 20 seconds. But actually I'm like, so what I was trying to say is I'm looking over at the bed, I'm seeing my medicine ball and some stuff like it's you can put it in the microwave or you can put it in, like, it's like a heating pad, but you can also freeze it too. And we've been using that to keep cool, as well as, of course, our air conditioner and our fan. But I'm just looking across my bed and I'm seeing, oh, I didn't put that in the freezer from this morning. So darn. Anyway, I will be back in about 20 seconds with introductions. But yeah, it's probably going to be a short episode. And I know I say that almost every single time. And then we have a marathon session. But this time, probably a short episode because it's hot. It's hot. It's hot. It continues to be hot. And I don't know how much I got in me, but I also didn't want to leave you guys hanging because the full moon is this weekend. So you need your astrology. And I'm here to give it from Teresa Reed's wonderful AstroBiz Digest. So stay tuned, and I will be back in about 20 seconds. Alrighty, but okay, so welcome to another edition of Tarot by Hilary Live. I am your hostess with the mostest, Hilary of tarotbyhilary.com, professional tarot reader and EFT tapping practitioner, here to demystify the mystical and put you in touch with the gift that you already have, which is your own intuition. And please don't argue with me because you have intuition. It's one of my long and most firmly held beliefs. So on this edition of the live stream, I'm giving you the astrology and then I'm bouncing. Well, maybe the astrology and the weekend forecast, and then I'm going to head out and make sandwiches with my hubby and cool off and play video games. And I am cooling off with something new that we're trying. Again, hopefully like Liquid Death, if you ever come across my videos, we love your severed lime sparkling, but we're trying out this sweet tea. So this one's Grim Leafer, which is sweet tea, agave, and vitamins. And then Mr. Tarot by Hilary is trying out the Dead Billionaire, I think it is. Which is half tea, half lemonade combination. So we tried each other's. They're both really good. And actually this sweet tea is not too sweet. So I like it. So cheers. Make sure you're hydrating if you happen to be in this heat. And I do have someone popping up asking love reading, and please feel free to book on my website, tarotbyhilary.com, but I don't do readings for free. So if you would like a session, there is my website right there, tarotbyhilary.com. You can certainly book a session with me. I do readings via phone, Skype, email, and Zoom. Sometimes in person, but I'm like kind of like tapering down on the in-person readings because it doesn't behoove me sometimes to like go to the trouble of like meeting with people in coffee shops or in their home when I can do readings from all over the world. Like, and we have people that tune into this live stream from all across the world for me. So I will do in-person readings, but the demand for in-person readings have kind of gone down in this world of beautiful technology. And actually one of my most popular episodes of the live stream is how to do online readings. And if you're wondering, where can I find that information? You can look through. We have replays of the archives on the Tube of You and the Book of Face. So feel free to search for that. We have 4 years worth of informative workshops. So on all different topics, not just divination topics, but a lot of it is centered around divination. So anyway, if you're new to the broadcast, there are 3 things that I usually do on the broadcast, as well as teaching a topic. For tonight's episode, we're not teaching a topic, but I am here to give you the astro-weather at the top of the episode. So that's first things first, and the weekend forecast at the end of the episode. Perhaps a short mid-episode reading if I'm feeling up to it and frisky. But we'll see. We'll see what we can see when we get there. And again, that is not a guarantee you will be read tonight. That is an opportunity to get a free reading, but only one person can win. So if you don't win, just tune in next week to try again, if we do the mid-episode reading. Anyway. Also, if you are tuning in live, please feel free to say in the chat where you're tuning in from. I always love to see it. I love to hear it. And I am broadcasting from the beautiful state of New York in the United States. It is 7:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here. And even if you're watching the replay, feel free to comment on the replay as well, because it's timey-wimey, and some of these messages that you might hear in the episode, even if it's not exactly a reading, might be hitting you at just the right time that you need to hear it. Who knows? All right, so actually, let me plug in my computer so that we don't get interrupted. And I will not be holding up August's deck of the month because we're not near that. We're not there yet. I think it's really funny that last week's episode, we were doing an episode of things that I'm currently loving. And one of those things, I just happened to have a sneaky preview of the deck of the month for August that I had just gotten in from Red Wheel Weiser? Yes, Red Wheel Weiser, which is Tarot of the Unexplained by the artist and author Dave Zilla. And I held it up last week, and apparently everything went pixelated. As you guys told me, I believe you, of course, but I didn't see it on my end. But I usually it's a Saturday morning thing for me where I'll boot up my computer and I will make sure I fill in some show notes from the episode after the fact, and then also add in like the end screen information, previous episode, all of the stuff that you see at the end of the episode on the Tube of You. And I also kind of look and see like how the video quality is, how the audio quality is. And so I was able to see that moment of pixelation. It like went screwy every single time I held it up. So very, very interesting. And I am hoping the unboxing that we're going to do the first Friday of August is not going to go quite like that. So that would be, I believe, August 2nd, Friday, August 2nd, we're going to do the unboxing of the August deck of the month, Tarot of the Unexplained. And I actually mentioned that to Mr. Tarot by Hilary earlier today, and he was just like, that's wild. Like, are you serious? And I'm just like, oh, I'm totally serious. Like, you can go to my Tube of You and look it up. It's crazy, but it pixelates every single time I held up the deck. And he was just like, that is certainly unexplained. I have a feeling he's really going to like that deck. Anyway, we have 3 main pillars. So astro-weather from the wonderful AstroBiz Digest by Teresa Reed, aka the Tarot Lady. The mid-episode reading, which may or may not happen tonight. It probably will. I'll do a short one. And then the weekend forecast, in which I pull a tarot card or an oracle card, usually an oracle card, to give you the energy of the weekend so you can enter into the weekend prepared and not scared. So if that sounds good to y'all, let me know in the chat and we'll get started with the AstroBiz Digest, which I took a quick peek-see at. And actually that's the whole reason that I'm doing the live stream tonight. It's just like, oh yeah, oh, it's a full moon this weekend. I can't leave you guys hanging. I have to do the live stream. I have to let you know about the astrology. Otherwise they won't know. Or, you might be a subscriber to the AstroBiz Digest already. So you would know, but maybe some of you aren't. So I had to do it. I had to take one for the team. So anyway, the astro weather from Teresa Reed, aka the Tarot Lady. It's subscription service, $99 for the year. Astrology in layman's terms, straight to your email inbox. It is geared towards entrepreneurs and business owners, but I find it to be very, very helpful in planning my personal life. And I'm going to go ahead and drop that link into the chat. And get small. Hold on a second. There we go. Ooh, that's kind of nice. There we go. So AstroBiz Digest, and I will go ahead and show that link on screen, thetarotlady.com/AstroBiz Digest, hyphens between Astro and Biz and Biz and Digest for you to get a copy of your own. Again, geared towards entrepreneurs and business owners, but very, very helpful in planning personal life as well. As I am an entrepreneur and business owner, tarotbyhilary.com, it's been extremely helpful for me in planning things out. And also, I do email readings, and I take astrology into account when I do have an email reading on the docket. So this is the reason why when I say I have an email reading turnaround time of 3 business days. Usually you'll get it quicker than that. You might get it in 24 hours. You might get it in 48 hours. You may get it on the edge of that 3-day. It might be the morning of day 4 when you get it. But the reason why is because I take the astrology into account when I'm doing your email reading, even if your email reading is not an astrological reading, because it's a tarot reading, right? But I do take into account the astrology at the time that I am doing the email reading, so that I am at maximum charge, maximum psychic pinnacle while I'm doing that email reading for you. Gosh, I hope that makes sense. So I am very appreciative of the Astro Biz Digest in that way. It tells me, when my power days are, when my weekdays are, days where I'm feeling not so great, and also days when I should probably abstain from doing a live stream. Otherwise, I might put my foot in my mouth. That is not the case here, by the way. So there's your link if you want to get a copy of it for yourself. Again, $99 for a year-long subscription. You get updates at the start of every month, and then every week you get an update of the entire week, and individually each day of the week what's going on in the stars, and then also you get a monthly summary of power days and weekdays ahead of the month too. So very, very helpful. All right, so let me hide this, put this down. Okay, cool. All right, so are we ready? Because the big transit, reason why I'm here is because we do have the full moon coming up this weekend on the 21st, I believe. So this weekend, the weekend is where the major astro action happens, according to Teresa. Mars will be in Gemini on the 20th, a transit well suited for writing. It will be here until September 4th, plenty of time to make progress on your writing goals, whether that is a new book, correspondence, newsletters, content, or finally tackling that inbox. It's also a fab period for rousing speeches. You can motivate the public if you let her rip. However, this can also be a snarky, mean-spirited few weeks. The trolls will be out in full force. You do not have to engage. Like just because somebody invites you to the argument doesn't mean you have to go, all right? Some online arguments are best ignored. Keep your energy focused on writing, public speaking, and negotiations instead. It's better that way. The second full moon in Capricorn shows up on the 21st. So the first was last month. This rare lunar event brings completion, closure, and an opportunity to tie up every loose end. This full moon is fantastic if you are ready to close the door on any aspect of your business. It can bring a reason to celebrate too. If you receive good news or score a win, host a party. All right, so those are the big astro transits going on right now. Okay, so the nitty gritty, starting with today, Friday, July 19th. The moon slips into Capricorn at 4:14 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, giving major CEO vibes for most of the weekend. Organize, strategize, make bold decisions, and lead. There are no aspects to get in your way today, so go on with your bad self and show the world your boss moves. So this is the reason, that's exactly the reason, Moon in Capricorn. That's the reason why I'm here live streaming tonight. Even though I didn't want to, even though I was feeling meh about it, I have to be here for you guys. And also, my ascendant is Capricorn. My rising sign is Capricorn. And today is a power day for Capricorn and a weak day for Cancer. So had to be here. Had to be here. All right, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday begins with a jolt of creative energy when Mars sextiles Neptune at 11:17 a.m. Tap into your muse and you'll download oodles of content. This vibe lasts all weekend, so you'll have plenty of time to make new material. Yay! Discipline is in the house at 1:15 p.m. when the moon sextiles Saturn. Use this time for power plays, negotiation, and work that requires concentration. Get ready to connect with your inner wordsmith when Mars moves into Gemini at 4:43 p.m., which we already talked about. Saturday ends on a dud note when the moon squares Chiron. The public is aggravated again. Best to lay low. Not sure what time that is. Sunday's full moon at 6:17 a.m. promises to be significant. Again, we talked about that. At 7:43 a.m., the moon switches gears as it enters friendly Aquarius. This lunation loves teamwork, technology, group activities, and community. Put your energy there over the next 2 days and you won't go wrong. The morning has 2 unique spots for community building activities. The Moon-Mars trine at 8:29 a.m., followed by the Moon-Pluto conjunction at 9:14 a.m. Whether in a group, hosting an online event, or popping out a friendly newsletter, you can welcome new people into your orbit. Venus sextile Jupiter at 4:43 p.m. brings business opportunities through social activities. You might rub elbows with the right people if you're out and about the next 3 days. So that is Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. It's also an incredible time to max out your PR. Get your face out there and you'll attract more recognition. One word of caution though, Mercury squares Uranus at 6:21 p.m., which could bring impractical ideas, unexpected disruptions, and off-putting conversations. A few freaks could also emerge, throwing salt in your game. Keep your shields up, ground yourself, and watch that interactions don't go off of the rails. Late Sunday has 2 awesome aspects. The Sun-Neptune trine at 11:25 p.m. and the Mars-Pluto trine at 11:48 p.m. This duo casts a productive, powerful, and creative energy into the next few days. Make art, connect with power players, lead, and share your big visions with the world. If you're a writer, your imagination will deliver some truly original ideas. Who needs to sleep when the energy is this marvelous? Saturday is a power day for Capricorn and a weekday for Cancer, as well as Friday. And Sunday is a power day for Aquarius and a weekday for Leo. So before we move on to either the weekend forecast or the mid-episode reading, we'll see. Does anyone have any questions about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday of this past week? Anything funky going on in those days and you want to know the astrological reason why? I will take a quick pixie in the AstroBiz Digest for you. And while I wait, I shall hydrate. Very warm in here. Very, very warm in here. Ugh. I kind of agree with this, friend. Nope, I just want to put it to bed. It all turned around today, and let's just not look back. All right. That's cool. That's cool with me. It's actually funny that you phrased it that way, because I've been doing this track in High Vibe Honey, which is the tapping membership from Gala Darling, who is my tapping teacher. That's where I received my certification for EFT tapping from. So that's her tapping community, which is fabulous, by the way. Highly recommend it. You'll see me in there. But recently, she switched some of her tappings over. By the way, this is Gala right here. I talk about her all the time on the live stream. She switched over a lot of her videos onto Mighty Networks, which is fantastic, and their app is really good too. And she started to do these tracks along a certain topic. So tappings on this particular like wavelength, like what you're working on. Like I did one on abundance, I think, and I completed the entire track. But it was like a collection of maybe 20 different tappings of different lengths. Could be 10 minutes, could be 15 minutes, could be 20 minutes in length. And now I'm doing one on I think it's on body, on like loving your body, but it might have been also like you can like bop around and do different ones, like depending on how you're feeling. And the one that I did, I think it was the one I did yesterday. And by the way, I tap every day. I try not to miss it. And if I do miss it a couple of days in a row, I end up really like, why is everything suddenly going to shit? And it's just like, oh, I have to upkeep the things that make me feel good. Otherwise, I'm going to start to feel like shit, right? One of the ones that I did yesterday was listening to your heart. And what was it? Listening to your heart and clearing old stuck energy. So I think it was the one that was like in clearing old and stuck energy. She talks a little bit, like she intros it a little bit before we do like side of the hand, which is tapping into the energy. And then she'll do a pause and talk about like what came up for you or what came up for her in between side of the hand, which is the tuning in, and then the main rounds of tapping, right? And she talked about that too, like clearing old and stuck energy. Like you can see it one of two ways. Like you can either take your journals and use your old journals and like work with that energy to see like, okay, this is where I was and this is where I am now, and like compare and use that as a stepping stone for, you know, moving into your future self, basically. And then other people, you know, tackle their old journals by burning them. And both ways are valid, right? So Fran's basically saying, I just want to put it to bed. It all turned around today, and let's just not look back. So that could be like having a Viking funeral for old journals, right? It's just like what was it that the Vikings did too? Like they would land and then they would burn their ships, because it's just like, okay, we're not going back there, right? And the way to not go back there is just like, okay, burning the ships. There's no way to get off this island now. Like we are here now. And maybe that's your approach. You know, it's just like, okay, everything turned around today. I don't want to look back. So there's two very different approaches there, and both are valid. And you just have to know what works for you. So it's just like Viking funeral for the astrology of last week. Because it's just like it all turned around. Let's not look back, right? But there are, you know, like that also has something to be said about clearing old stuck energy. Maybe in clearing the old stuck energy, or maybe the energy is old and stuck because you continue to ruminate on it. You know, you continue to say the same stories or tell yourself you are that same person and wallow in it instead of like, okay, I'm going to tell myself something different now. You know, I'm going to change this. I'm going to change this by talking about myself in a new and different way that is empowering rather than victimizing. Like, what was it? I think I talked about this in therapy this week, or a little bit about it, where it was just like, you know, like being mean to yourself has not worked, you know. And it's just like, how do you not be mean to yourself after years of being mean to yourself? But if being mean to yourself actually worked, like it would have worked by now. So like try approving of yourself instead, as in the words of Louise Hay. Wow, that was a little tangent, but I feel you, Fran. Turn it around. Let's just not look back. Fine, good. Because I could look back. Monday was a doozy for me, in a lot of different ways, and I could look back at the astrology for Monday and be like, oh, well, that was the reason for that, or it could just be that someone was having a shitty day and they decided to take it out on me. It could be that too. Now I have to, like, I just talked about a whole bunch of different things, so you'll have to tell me what the meme was about, Fran. Oh my god, so many memes. Like my love language, like I know love languages like gifts, physical gifts, words of affirmation, quality time. No, my love language is memes. If I love you, I will send you memes. And sometimes I will just download them, and then you'll see them on my Instagram stories. Like you'll see them pop up every so often. It doesn't matter how old they are. Uh, like I've been very vocal about the fact that I don't like the Acolyte, the new Star Wars series. I just finished it this week, and I'm like, I have big feelings about it. So of course I downloaded this one. It says the Acolyte is the worst Star Wars ever. No, it's just the worst Star Wars so far. My love language is memes, and better watch out if I figure out how to create them myself, which I have. I've done a couple of meme creations before. None of them have gone viral because some of them are just so specific to like tarot. So maybe I should try. And of course, this one's great. Me watching what I predicted unfold after everyone told me I was crazy. My love language is memes. Okay, so Fran says talking mean to yourself. Yep, yep. So, like I was saying at the beginning of the episode, like pay attention to some of these things that I'm saying. If there's meaning in there for you, or if this is the second or third time that you're hearing it from a different source, like, hey, that might be a sign, right? And then knowing what I know, you'll probably be looking for a signier sign. Let's see. What are the other memes that I? And then, of course, there's really specific ones, like from the 90s. Yep. This one's a pretty good one. No offense, but if I die and no one uses a Ouija board to keep me updated on memes, then I will legit haunt all of you. That one I yoinked from the That Witch Life podcast. So, but yeah, talking mean to yourself. How about trying to approve of yourself instead? Can you tell I've been listening to Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life a lot lately? And today I pulled the Siren card from the Wild Unknown Archetypes, which is the deck that we're using for Card of the Day pulls. Not a tarot deck, not a tarot deck. I see it more as an oracle deck, even though it does have 78 cards. And so today I pulled the Siren. And so some of the suggestions that Kim Cran says in the interpretations from her guidebook are, you know, pieces of art or poetry or actresses or celebrities. In fact, yesterday's card of the day, the archetype of the eternal child, there was a bit of celebrity in there. So yeah, attention to detail. Struggles being bound to an aging body with physical limitations in a world that demands attention to detail and logistics. The eternal child wants to nix all rules and responsibilities and go beyond what others say is possible. So it makes the eternal child naturally popular, perhaps even famous. It reminds us of what is possible, what is magical. So celebrity culture is based heavily on this archetype, as is the phrase live hard, die young, and the series of artists and musicians who died at 27. So like this is part of the reason why I like working with the archetypes deck, because there's so many archetypes that are out there that are like subconsciously we all know what an archetype is or what it stands for. But we also have differing perspectives of one, how we see that archetype and how that archetype plays out in our life. So the eternal child for me was a reminder to me yesterday to stop being so serious, because I was getting really like wound up about like adult problems, like finances, like rent, like paying the bills, like getting clients, like doing all of the things, right? And the eternal child has no interest in that kind of shit. They are more interested in what feels good and living in the moment, right? And to some degree, that can be good, and to some degree, it can be not so good, right? So to me, the eternal child was a reminder to not take stuff so seriously and just to get back to what I enjoyed doing when I was a child. So that's a more simplified version of the archetype, but that was that archetype's message to me yesterday. Now, if you were looking at that card and you were looking at the full interpretation from the guidebook of that card, your perspective is going to be different because you might be dealing with something completely different than me. And both are valid. So today we had the Siren card. That's what I pulled. And in the guidebook, it talks a lot about mermaids and fairies and siren and this and that. And a couple of the suggestions were look at, hold on, I've got it right here. The temptress, the seducer, the femme fatale. Siren calls and the world spins. What we thought we wanted pales in comparison to the sweet allure of her song. Following her song, we go down, down, down to a place where lessons are learned and courage must be rallied to find our way back to dry land. So it is this irresistible energy, right? So part of the suggestions for the Siren was to go deeper, was looking at J.W. Waterhouse's nymph paintings, and then also listening to Lana Del Rey's album Ultraviolence. Now, I don't think of myself as a Lana Del Rey fan, but then again, I haven't really exposed myself to her music or really listened to her music. And so sometimes some of these archetypes, some of these cards that I'm pulling, I'm actually doing the suggestions from the guidebook. So I started listening to that album. It's really, really good. And I get it. I understand why Kim Cran's decided that was paired with this archetype. Now, your mileage may vary. And of course, the interpretation is not going to be the whole of the archetype. It's going to be Kim Kranz's understanding of the archetype, because no one person can fully encompass explaining the entirety of an archetype, because we're all going to come at the archetypes differently. That's the reason why tarot works too. Tarot is based upon archetypes as well. Stephanie says, I actually really like Lana. I do too. I just don't know a lot about her, and I just really didn't have, I mean, I know some of her songs, some of her more popular songs like Summertime Sadness. I also know her cover of, I guess it's called Summertime. And Summertime Sadness, and her version of Once Upon a Dream. Like I recognize who she is, but I've never really gone deep into listening to an album from start to finish. And it's been a while, you know, and I'm glad that that suggestion was there and that I followed it, because it's like making me think about, oh, what other albums should I be listening to from start to finish, or at least attempting to listen from start to finish. So I did start to listen to like Taylor Swift's new album, The Tortured Poets Department, and some of the songs are really, really good. So, but another, like, you can think of another person as a siren or siren songs. I thought of Fletcher as well, which I didn't know a lot about Fletcher until she was on, she performed with Miley Cyrus, not last year, but I think it was, not last year, but two years ago on New Year's Eve. So, yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. Very good, Stephanie. You followed the urge. Those of you who don't understand what Stephanie's talking about, I am a human design. I'm a manifester in human design. Splenic manifester, to be specific. And splenic manifestors, that's our point of information. We have to follow the urge of our intuition, and we have to follow it in the moment. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Like if we let the urge pass us by without following that urge, we might be missing out on something. And manifestors don't have their own energy. That's the reason why the rest cycles are very important for manifestors. I would highly, highly recommend, if you're unsure about what human design is, check out one of the episodes of the live stream that I did with Meg Percy, who is a human design expert. That was, oh gosh, I think that might have been 2 years ago now. But you can definitely find it if you search The Tube of You or the Book of Face. Look up human design on my channel and you'll find it right away. Yeah, so. All right, I'm looking at the time. It's 43 minutes. Do we want to do the mid-episode reading? Do you guys want to do that? Because I can do 3 cards from the tarot, or I can do 1 card from the archetype deck. Even though last week, when we did Things I'm Loving, the winner of the mid-episode reading was just like, not the archetypes deck. I can't remember who said it to me. Someone said that they purchased the Wild Unknown Archetypes. Just pull a card for the group. Ooh. Stephanie, oh yeah, Stephanie was just like, not the archetypes, right? Fran says, just pull a card for the group. Okay, I can do that. How about I do this? It's going to be 2 separate cards. I'll do a card for the group. Whoever's here right now, this is a reading for you. And also whoever is watching the replay, this is a reading for you. How about that? From the archetypes. 1 card from the archetypes. And that will be our mid-episode reading, which everyone wins, collective reading. And then we will do the weekend forecast. I will let you guys choose what we're going to do for the weekend forecast. Y'all know by now, like I got oracle decks coming out of the ears, and we also have affirmation cards as well. You know, one of these episodes, I think we should go through the catalog and see which decks you want me to explore, because I am like an equal opportunity offender. I will take a tarot deck. I will take an oracle deck. I don't give a shit. I will try it. So like the Good Fortune Tarot, I think I mentioned about before. The Steampunk Fairy Tarot looks really interesting. Oh boy. Chiro has two new decks. Well, it's one deck in two different color palettes. So it's called the Mystic Palette Tarot. And you can get it in the, I guess, the regular and then the muted tone edition, which is beautiful. Let's see. The Bee Tarot. The Bee Tarot is by Christopher Hughes, who did the Yuletide Tarot, which we did do an unboxing for on this channel, and did do it as the deck of the month for December of this past year. And so, yeah, Christopher Hughes and Nadia Turner, but beautiful, looks beautiful. Let's see, what else? Sigil Witchery Oracle, Call of the Morrigan Oracle, like, come on, World Dragon Oracle, Everyday Witches Familiars Oracle, like, new releases 2024, Seaborn Kipper, we did that. Seaborn Kipper. I loved the Kipper. I was surprised how much I enjoyed the Kipper and the Kipper system. I didn't think, like, I thought it was gonna be like Lenormand and shake me off like a wet dog, and it didn't. It was actually very welcoming and accepting. So that was surprising to me. Anyway, let me grab the Wild Unknown archetypes. We'll pull a card for the collective, and then we will do the weekend forecast from a different deck. So give your suggestions in the chat. Let's see if I have, where's my little, let's see. Oh, good. Still have it. I made this ages ago. But I guess it still works. Stephanie's voting for the Starseed Oracle from last week. Yeah, I mean, like the Starseed Oracle, it's my jam. I really like it. I like that, and I like the Work Your Light deck, both of which are from Rebecca Campbell and Danielle Noel. If you like the artwork on there, you might like Danielle Noel's tarot decks that she did, which is the Star Child Tarot and the Moon Child Tarot. Very, very beautiful, very ephemeral, very cool looking. And I don't have the Moonchild Tarot. I only have the Starchild Tarot. Maybe I should get the Moonchild Tarot. Yeah, Starseed's in there. So a vote for the Starseed. Duly noted. All right, be right back. Hopefully this works. Freaking love that. It's so cute. It's so cute. Fran is also good with the Starseed Oracle. Okay, good to know. All right, so we are back with the Archetypes Guidebook. Incredibly helpful. Like, again, like once again, I've said this on previous episodes, where if you're working with an oracle deck, or even a tarot deck that might deviate from a standard Rider-Waite-Smith, like you really do want the guidebook. The guidebook is there to help you. Gosh, how did I describe it? I think I described this in a Card Slingers episode, where it's like a little port in the storm. It's your little boat. You know, it's a guidebook. It's literally, it's in the name. It's a guidebook. So, you know, it's not gospel necessarily, but you might be able to get like the inner workings or the knowledge of like, why did the artist choose to depict the tarot deck in that way? It could be that the oracle deck, the structure of the oracle deck is something very specific to the oracle deck's creator. So in many ways, the guidebook can be incredibly helpful, especially if the guidebook is written by the artist or written with the cooperation of the artist. It can be incredibly, incredibly helpful when it deviates. The imagery might deviate from something that you're familiar with, especially like with like I'm very finicky on my High Priestess tarot card. Like I have to have it's very strange to me if I don't see a pomegranate in the High Priestess card. So I know that's a weird thing to say, but like when I was getting my High Priestess tattoo, I was asking around, not only like I was asking myself, what does the High Priestess mean to me and what symbols has to be on it to make it the High Priestess? It was crescent moon, it was pomegranates, and it was the triple moon symbol. And then the pillars, and this, and then this. And so it's like the more I asked around, the more imagery I had to work with and then bring to my tattoo artist to work with me on the High Priestess card that actually does not exist anywhere except for on my arm. Anyway. So Stephanie says, love a good guidebook. Ethany gifted me her newest deck. Awesome. And I love how it breaks down all of the symbols and artwork. What is Ethany's newest deck? I feel like it's such a bad friend. I haven't seen Ethany in years, by the way, but like, I love Ethany. I love Ethany so much. Like, shout out to Ethany. She's awesome. And her tarot summer school is always excellent as well. Love her. Oh, the Cosmic Wisdom. Yes, I've heard really, really good things about the Cosmic Wisdom. That's another one. That's another one I'm going to put on my little list of wants and needs. Anyway, so, all right, we have the archetypes deck here. And we're going to do the mid-episode reading that is for the collective, for everyone. So if this is coming across your feed, if you're watching now, or if you're watching the replay, this message may be for you. And the reason why I say that is, you know, there are so many people in the world that just like a horoscope is not going to be 100% accurate to all Aries, so too will this message not necessarily resonate with everyone. But the people that are meant to hear it, it will resonate for. I trust that to be true. So, shuffling. It's this one. It's this one. Okay, so we are getting the box. So this is our message. This is our archetype that we're working with. So again, if you're seeing this, if this is resonating for you, especially as I read the guidebook interpretation and the suggestions, like if it's starting to feel familiar, just like, ooh, like, oh, that might be for me. You don't have to put it in the chat if you don't want to. You can feel free to keep it in the space of your mind and heart. But if you want to put it in the chat, you can. So like, oh yeah, that sounds like it's for me. So the box is one of the places cards in the archetypes deck. because we have different sections, different cards, different categories of cards. The selves, the places, the tools, and the initiations. And so this is a place card, the box. It is right here. All right. So the box, the cage, the rules, the norm. We all live to some degree within the confines of the box. This archetype represents everything that is known, anticipated, and expected. It holds us in place while simultaneously holding us back from our greatest visions. The box is sneaky, insidious, and everywhere, limiting us at the most unconscious levels. It is built of layer upon layer of social constructs and pressures. Breaking through its confines requires awareness, continued effort, and bravery. The box may appear as expectations from parents, a well-paying but heartless job, the pressure to look or behave like others, or simply to stay small. This is for me. There is a box around you now, made of some type of confining thought. This is the reason why we tap. This is the reason why I tap. What is that confining thought? The box shifts and morphs as we grow. This is part of its multi-layered nature. Once you break through one layer, another will present itself to you. Keep going. Break through. An exquisite life requires it. Yes. So Stephanie is seeing this archetype. See, this is the reason why I said this before about archetypes. We're all going to come at it differently, and there's no way that any one of us can describe the whole of the archetype, because there's just no way. So Stephanie is seeing this archetype as a comfortable cage, which is a completely valid thing to say. So moving outside of the box is exhilarating and expansive, but destabilizing. Others will wonder what you are doing and why you will too. This is part of the process. And everything within the box is known. Everything outside the box is unknown. That is why it is more comfortable to stay within its walls. Choose freedom. All right, so when light or when in balance, this card or this archetype is structure, order, coherence, and logic. When dark or out of balance, limitation, rigidity, judgment, and fear. And to go deeper, Richard Serra's one-ton prop, House of Cards, which I don't know what that is. Is that a work of art? Is that a musical piece? Let me see. I'm gonna look. Well, I think it's a sculpture. It's one-ton prop. Oh. It's the purpose of creating the one-ton prop was to use gravity to attack the steadiness and permanence of form. It was made in 1969. It's a sculpture. It's a lead sculpture by Richard Serra. And I think it's at the... Is this at the MoMA? Well, that didn't download. Hold on. Here we go. All right, let me show you this, guys, and then we'll do the weekend forecast. There it is. That's what it looks like. So Fran says, I get it. Messages not received will be repeated. Growth hurts. Keep going. Step outside your comfort zone. Yeah. We're all and again, like, this is the amazing part of tarot, and this is the amazing part of archetypes. Like, we're all going to see something a little bit different. It's all going to be a different message for us, and yet it's the same message, but it's going to hit us a little bit differently. Now I kind of want to see this in person. All right, question for everybody. Should that be the weekend forecast? Or do we want more and more? Because I feel like that is so much more than the weekend forecast. Fran says, well, I always want more, but cool off. Hold on, I just want to see here. So, holy crap. So apparently, I'm going to keep this up on screen as I tell you this. So Richard Serra has undeniably consolidated his career in contemporary art through his many controversial works, including his now well-known installation, One Top Prop. One top prop. What is 1 ton? 1 ton prop. There we go. 1 ton prop. Typos. Here, you guys can put that into the chat. Most Richard Serra exhibitions have elicited debates and discussions. In some cases, visitors have even sustained injuries, and there have even been some incidents of death recorded. For instance, in November 1971, this sculpture turned deadly suddenly when a rigger known as Raymond Johnson was trapped after one of the plates from the sculpture slipped from its frail support and fell. Unfortunately, this person passed away, but his wife filed a lawsuit against the artist and the museum. In the end, the artist, Richard Serra, was exonerated. It was the fabricators of the steel plates that were found negligent after constructing the plates shoddily. Another incident occurred in October of 1988 during a two-person exhibition alongside Bruce Nauman at the Castelli Gallery in New York. Apparently, the 32-ton heavy steel sculpture reading cones pinned two workers for some minutes when it fell from its jacks. Like architects, he had always designed his works to be explored by the audience. In one-ton prop, the audience could enter, walk in and out, and interact with the artwork. The capacity to explore pieces this way allowed the audience to gain a unique experience by touching, feeling, and in a way communicating with the works. Combined elements of weight, gravity, counterforce, and other properties of architecture in the piece. The work, contrary to popular belief, was not an abstract form, but a sculpture. He constructed and designed the strips of lead and steel to lean against one another. As such, he did not use bolts or rivets to join the pieces together. He simply wanted to develop a sculpture that depended on its inner stability. He said himself, even though it seemed it might collapse, it was in fact freestanding. You could see through it, look into it, walk around it, and I thought, there's no getting around it. This is sculpture. In the end, the piece was a fluid work that existed in a state of tension, which pointed toward the unchanging state of the being. It also helps to point out the emotions that human beings experience internally and externally in relation to their environment. Interesting. So he just passed away this year. All right. Yeah, I think that's the weekend forecast. I feel a little attacked. I'm actually going to share this this card with Mr. Tarot by Hilary as well, because I think he might feel a little attacked too. Anyway. All right. So thank you, all of you, for watching. We'll do this again next week. Actually, I don't know if we'll do this again next week. I might be away next weekend, so we might not have a show next Friday. But I will let you know ahead of time. And that, I guess that's even more of a reason for me to do the show tonight. So I'm glad I did. I'm glad you all showed up, even though I was a half an hour late. I wasn't going to leave you guys hanging during the full moon. Treat yourselves well this weekend. Full moon energy can be hit or miss for me. Like, I either feel really, really energized by a full moon or really, really exhausted, and there's no in-betweens. So just make sure you're hydrating yourself, you're taking care of yourself, both physically and energetically, and also especially if you are in an area which is experiencing a lot of heat, make sure that you're staying hydrated. That's super, super important. I mean, I say it all the time for like spiritual work, but make sure it's true in a physical sense as well. You need your water. You need your hydration. So once again, thank you all so much for watching. I am Hilary, professional tarot reader and EFT tapping practitioner, here to demystify the mystical and put you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friends, do not argue with me. You have intuition. So full moon coming up this weekend, and also remember the box, and remember to keep on going through those layers and choose freedom over fear. All right, take care of yourselves, and have a great rest of your weekend and rest of your week. Bye.